Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Sunless Skies. In today's episode we're going to be carrying on looking around Achlys and seeing what we can find here and hoping that my computer doesn't crash. Let's see what happens here. I believe in the last episode we visited the Court of Tea and Spices. Let me just double check. We did. Indeed. Okay, so let's have a look at the House of Silks. A sleepy warmth oozes through the curtains. Admission is free. What awaits inside is negotiable. The curtains part with a sickly sweet breath of incense. Velvet wraps the inside of the hut like a fine chocolate box, with silk curtains delicately hanging down to provide translucent privacy for guests. Behind, the shadows of wealthy traders lie in the embrace of soft, well-plumped cushions, gently sipping from bronze hookah pipes until their eyes and troubles are somewhere else entirely. Oh, I can smoke some hookah here. How much does this cost? 10 sovereigns to sit down with a hookah pipe? Yeah, sure, why not? The cushions are soft. The honeyed incense is sweet. Maybe it'll lower my terror. My terror has fallen. You settle down next to a fellow captain, a tea trader from the Blue Kingdom, still smoking through her death mask, and a figure who prefers to keep that identity private. There is little conversation. The incense is so strong, and each breath from the hookah only serves to wrap the world in fresh, warm layers of cotton wool and half-remembered dreams. I mean, any terror reduction for 10 sovereigns is pretty good. Guessing I can only do that once every, so often. Yes, you have smoked too recently. Excessive consumption is discouraged. Right, can we request an audience with Mr. Pipes? The hooded proprietor keeps to itself at the back of the house. A particularly large hookah pipe delivers smoke into the darkness of its cloak. A gramophone beside it quietly plays a Bach concerto. An apologetic refusal. A serving boy returns, bowing apologetically. Mr. Pipes is relaxing and has no interest in either chitter or chatter. If you have business, you may present it to one of the staff. Otherwise, his master encourages you to avail yourself of the facilities. Okay, well that's fair. Let's see if we can ask about Midnight's favour here. A place like this should have the specialty of the port. The serving girl shakes her head. We are not worthy of Midnight's favour. Perhaps. In the distance, a cloaked master raises an arm. Or just a sleeve. Just a little. A summons. Excuse me, please. No one will talk about Midnight's favour. Let's return to the floating market. Right, we can visit the Vigilant Nightingale. An old, mostly picked-apart locomotive acts as the ring-breaker urchin's kip and base of operations. 2 of them guard it sleepily. One of the urchins jabs at you with her weapon, a broomstick with a knife on the end. Friend or foe? Let's go with friend, delivered with an encouraging smile. The urchins salute. Good. Enter, friend. This broken-down engine has been comprehensively gutted to serve as the ring-breaker's home and base. Filthy hammocks stretch between metal bars, most full of snoring urchins. Others sit around decorating tea tray armour with bright paints, or sparring playfully with wooden sticks. We got quite a few things we can do here. Let's start by visiting the captain's cabin. The door leads to one of the few rooms that hasn't been gutted. A series of names have been scratched into it and then scratched out. The only one still readable says Sigrid. "Enter," barks a high-pitched voice. "Sigrid Spitzdeuter, Valkyrie of the Ringbreakers, the closest thing this port has to law." Despite being the youngest Ringbreaker to be declared Valkyrie, Sigrid has the glare of a seasoned general and the scars to back it up. She sits sternly behind a mahogany desk almost as tall as she is, carefully engrossed in a copy of Sun Tzu's The Art of War. It is a show of military diligence, only slightly undercut by it being upside down. Alright, here is a lot of information. Let's start with the basics. Let's ask about the Ringbreakers. Why are urchins acting like the constabulary in this port? Someone's got her, right? Sigrid's face is a mixture of pride in her job and irritation at being questioned. "I'd just be thinking we're a bunch of kids. You hear of the Valkyrie? Greatest warrior in old London she was. Yeah, well, in her name, we kicked out the old bugger what brought us to the wilderness to clean out his chimneys or whatever, and now we've a home. Can't blame us for wanting to protect it, right? Even if it is a bit damp in bits. Course," he adds, "can't stay here forever. We're all one of the Ringbreakers. When you're old enough, that's when it's time to go out and find fortune out there, and find others to fill their places. All welcome, just got to swear by our code, and they're welcome to grab a hammock. At least, as long as they don't fart too much in their sleep." Okay. What can you tell me about the monastery? It dominates the port, but stands apart from it. "Oh, I've never been in myself," Sigrid admits. "Them bohemian types in town are said to know a way, but it ain't through the front door. Anyway, without the tea from the place, we'd not have much of a home. Reckon we'll keep defending it. A Valkyrie don't need thanking." Alright. What can you tell me about Midnight's favour? You must know about the brew that made this port's name. "Yeah, like them snooty bohemian types would let us try the stuff," Sigrid shrugs. "A big problem. Nothing wrong with the juice, not unless you drink it after brushing your teeth. Just don't brush 'em is what I say. Probably bad for 'em anyway, working 'em over like that." Great. What about this war of midnight? What's going on between her crew and the attackers? Sigrid's face darkens. I shouldn't have let that Amberly Murgatroyd get her boots dry after striding into port. We know it's her trying to destroy the midnight tea, so everyone will buy Daddy's old scrapings instead. But she's tricksy, and with them clay men of hers always around, we can't go accidentally pushing her off into the marsh. Oh, but we'll get her. Oh yeah. Alright, well, let's leave her to her business. She has plenty to be getting on with. We can trade with the urchins. 35% chance. Their equipment may smack of the schoolyard, but they take their fighting seriously. Let's try... Oh, we succeeded. You wield your broom proudly, fending off attacks with ease and returning them as stern but educational bops to the Ringbreakers' heads. By the end, they reluctantly agree that for a grown-up, you're not entirely rubbish, maybe a bit lucky. A certain silence falls. They seem to be expecting something. We can bellow. Hojo Hoto, a stirring battle cry. We can bellow it again, a triumphant battle cry, or we can do it again as a deafening battle cry. Let's go with a triumphant battle cry. Ho, jo, to, ho! They chorus in response. You sense you have earned no small amount of respect here. Nice. Not entirely sure that helped us out, but let's visit the brig. A series of iron bars have been welded into the stern, ready to hold anyone who might do the port harm. A mix of angry, doleful, and drunk eyes stare back at you from the darkness. All the prisoners have been stripped to their underthings. The ringbreakers do their best to keep them happy by regularly throwing them boiled sweets. Doesn't appear to be working. Return to the market. We can have a look at the prominent statue. It sits in the middle of the dock, untouched by chalk scribbles or damage. A couple of tattooed spice merchants lean against it, quietly eating their lunch. The mysterious founder, it can be assumed. If not, someone equally important to the market port. They look somewhat more imp than man, with a flag on the lapel that matches the crest on the nearby wreck of the Vigilant Nightingale. Peering closely, there is a plaque between the figure's feet. Someone has scratched out all the details. Perhaps the subject themselves, preferring to maintain a sense of mystery or plausible deniability. Curious. We can head down to the monastery. The path is narrow and poorly lit. Not many venture this way. Petrified veins run down the side of this ancient structure. Two giant, featureless doors block the crumbling entrance, far too large for any human to open. The metal is unfamiliar, but resilient. Unfortunately, the same cannot be said of the monastery itself. The ages have not been kind. Let's speak to the impatient penitent. He beats his fists against the door, getting nothing but bloody knuckles for his trouble. Oh, if I had soul flaws, I could be allowed in. Interesting. I have 3 out of 4. How upsetting is that? Let's speak with this man. You. He blinks tears from his eyes. You're a captain, right? You've got the look about you. Maybe you can help. My husband. He was never the same after he came back from the Z with that tattoo. The eye. That blasted eye. It drew him here. I'm sure of it. Turn to the market. I cannot demand entrance. Head out to the marshes. A pair of urchins guard the path out of the market. I wouldn't, warns the older of the two. Nothing out there but plants wanting to eat your face off and water that drives your potty. But they show no interest in stopping you. The marsh beckons. The lights of the port slowly fade. Beyond lies a forested grey swamp, misted over and filled with leafless black trees that claw at the air. Few venture out here, except to gather incense from what they call Achlys' garden. There are no maps to it. Many do not return, but your head is clear. The path ahead looks manageable. You have nothing to fear. Let's continue through the marsh, onwards and forwards, in search of its secrets. The swamp slurps at your boots. The mist makes it impossible to gauge any real direction. You might have turned around 100 times and never known it. We have 3 options here. We can cling to the tree lines. They must lead somewhere. Close your eyes and choose a direction, likely to be as good as any other. Or we can stick to the water. There may be treasures under its foul surface. I mean, in reality, the best thing to do would be to stick to water, because water tends to run somewhere, and we'll see. Let's stick to the water. Time passes. The path splits 3 ways, each somehow less encouraging than the last. For a moment, you see a ghost flickering between the branches of a tree. Further inspection reveals nothing but a piece of loose paper. Every footstep is increasingly difficult to finish. I'm going to continue. Okay, turned around and have never known it. Let's cling to the tree line this time. A series of vines stretch around the tree here. Large, grape-like objects hang from them. Unlike grapes, however, the contents are moving. For a moment, things are peaceful. The mud bubbles. The air here is poison. Let's continue. Let's close my eyes and choose a direction. Time passes. You stumble over the remnants of some old ruin. Perhaps a castle, perhaps a temple. Not enough remains of it to hazard a guess. Your voice echoes in the perpetual night. Echo, echo, echo. You are starting to feel a little fuzzy. Let's continue. We have new things here. We can head towards the north. Your instincts push you in that direction. You could follow the water currents. Most of the water is stagnant, but the occasional stream runs through to elsewhere. We can choose a direction at random. This place defies your attempt to map it. Let's follow the water currents. Time passes. You climb down a hill to see the ground writhing. Snakes. Thousands of them. For a moment you see a ghost flickering between the branches of a tree. Further inspection reveals nothing but a piece of loose paper. You swat at the flies around your head. They don't care. Continue. If I close my eyes and choose a direction, is that going to take me to somewhere new? Okay, an encounter. The remnants of an old bridge stretch into the mist. Most of it has already been taken by the mud. In the distance you hear what sounds like a hunting horn. The poison in the air burns your skin. Let's see what this encounter is. Something looms out of the marsh mist. A siren without a rock. A mournful figure of chipped glass, cracked and shining in the light. It gazes at you with a quiet helplessness, beckoning you closer. We can approach the mysterious lady. Her lips move, whispering something. You could hear it if you were just a little bit closer. You can turn away from the mysterious lady. Even here you know better than that. Or we can protest this tiresome cliché. Why are seductive monsters always female anyway? I'm going to go with this one. The naked lady sits patiently as you complain about the gender politics of mythology, the unfortunate interplay of sexuality and vice, and the equal insults such things are to the males of the species treated as unthinking sexual omnivores, and to the females reduced to mere passive decoration for the sake of such a tawdry social gaze. Why? for instance, is the succubus endlessly more represented than the incubus in all literature? What does it say of the human condition that beauty has been linked to damnation by temptation from the moment of Eve's sin, and from where did the double standards... It's a fine speech, even if in retrospect you remember that its only audience was actually a small frog interested in the flies buzzing around your muddy clothes. Ribbit, it agrees, hopping off into the marsh to carefully ponder things. That was fun. I enjoyed that. The land here is so damp. Anything built on it likely sank into the marsh many years ago. In the distance you hear what sounds like a hunting horn. Your name slips from your memory. You reach for it. Repeat it. Hold it tight. Let's continue. At some point we're going to have to back out here because this is getting bad. Let's just close our eyes and choose a random direction again. Another encounter. Let's try it. Is it going to be the lady again? No, it's the Queen of Hours. Someone splashes towards you through the marsh, bent with hurry, wearing broad skirts of black and gold. The mist lifts. It can't be. It's the Empress herself. Her renewed majesty, forging through the mud with her skirts raised around her royal ankles. She looks at you, and her eyes are as bright as suns. Have you seen a man pass? But attention is caught by something in the mist. Albert? Dear Albert? Don't wander off. She hurries in pursuit of someone you cannot see, and the mist closes hungrily between you. He is gone. Was she ever here? Achlys' garden. You emerge from the mud into a leafy green clearing. Sweet smells compete for your attention. Jasmine, alyssum, rose. The garden is a piece of Eden in the grey wastes. Green, flourishing, with the sweetness of pollen in the air. A few carnivorous plants take a playful nip as you pass, but none have the reach to snag more than a sleeve. A spring under a looming tree offers ice cold and clear water. It washes the fog from your mind as it quenches your thirst. After a few minutes watching the bees buzz between the bright gem flowers, you begin gathering the garden's bounty. Your arms full of picked flowers, you turn back for the port. They will turn a fine profit from the market's incense vendors. Hey, I made it back. I didn't die. And I made some money, which is fantastic. But I think that's the whole episode, really. We managed to explore a lot of Achlys. There is a way to get into that chapel. I don't remember what it is, though. I'm hoping maybe we can work that out. I might need to have my soul dirtier. But I swear there's a quest to get in. Maybe it has something to do with Murgatroyds. I don't know. I guess we'll find out soon enough. But either way, thank you all so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, let me know what you think. Your comments are greatly appreciated. Thank you again to the members of the channel and the coffee supporters. It means the world to me. And as always, I'll see you next time.